Welcome back to another episode of GTM Talk. In today's episode, we have Gaurav Sharma, the founder and CEO of SaaS Labs. Thank you so much, Gaurav, for taking part in GTM Talk.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
Right. So SaaS Labs is a multi-product company that's close to 30 million in ARR. Gaurav is the pioneer of founder-led sales. He sold his way through without a single full-time SDR from 0 to 2 million in revenue, bootstrapped until 5 million in revenue, raised I think about 56.5 odd million from PHV, 8 roads and base 10. So SaaS Labs is anything but an overnight success. It's taken 8 long years of hard work and persistence to where they are today. So Gaurav, how did SaaS Labs start? What was the inception to SaaS Labs?
Sure, man. We just completed our 8 years on 17th Feb. So we sort of partied both at our Noida office and the Bangalore office. It was amazing feeling completing 8 years. Probably my third longest relationship, I would say, like after my parents and my wife. That's my longest relationship, right? Um, so 2016 I started SaaS Labs. Before that, I was running a business in US which got acquired. So I moved back to India 2015. Spent about a year to figure out like what to do next. And before my US company, I sold another analytics company. So I've sold two companies sort of before, right? So when I was starting to do something new, I was pretty clear that I want to do something very long term. I'm not going to be selling it. I really need something that can sort of where I retire from actually. Like I don't want to sell again. Um, so I started looking at what are some of those ideas that can sort of outlive me. And for that, I started looking at some of the companies I really admire and love. For example, Atlassian or Adobe kind of companies, right? Uh, and the common factor I found among these companies was that they were champions of different job profiles. So, for example, Atlassian, I would say, so I have a 2 year old. So if she grows up and becomes a product manager, she'll be using Jira even if like even 20 years down the line, right? In some other form, but something like that. So Atlassian is a champion of, let's say, Jira is a champion of, let's say, PMs or project management or something like that. So they're a champion of a job profile. Similarly, Adobe is a champion of, let's say, designers. I mean, if she grows up and becomes a designer, she'll be using something Adobe, right? Um, so that was the thinking point. So I was like, what are some of those job profiles that I can build for, where there's some sort of open opportunity? So from my US experience, I found that the smaller businesses are super underloved. Most of the businesses in US or let's even for that matter Europe also, like they're building for bigger companies mostly, like mid market and enterprise. For SMBs, I'm talking about like 12 years back when I was in US when I moved to US for the first time. So SMBs were super underloved. So that sort of all those things got combined, and the idea became like, okay, let's build something for small and medium sized businesses for the sales and support agents as a job profile. So if you combine these two, I mean, the TAM becomes so big that it gives you an opportunity to build something really long term and something really big for years to come. Because till the time there is business on earth, there will be salespeople and support people. Again, they'll be in different shape and form. I mean, probably AI will take over a lot of these sort of part of the job, but people will still be there, or these jobs will still be there. Right. That became the thesis of SaaS Labs. So at SaaS Labs, what we're doing is we're building a kind of an operating system or a multi-product platform for these agents to do everything from, let's say, getting started with their job, which is like training and getting ramped up, to doing their daily job, to coaching, to automation. So all the four buckets where people do or buy software for doing a better job. So we are building that whole stack for the sales and support agents.
Right. Was it always a plan to start? The new in term is compound startups, right? Was it always a plan to start a multi-product company, or did it evolve into a multi-product company?
No, I think I was pretty clear because see, I I love writing code and building products, right? So when you're able to build things, it's very easy for you to get bored easily, right? And probably I sold the first two companies just because I just got in a way bored or something, like I was just attracted towards something very shiny or something like that, right? So just if I think back, so when I was starting SaaS Labs, I was like, what is one thing I can do here so that I don't have to sell the company or I don't get bored? So that was probably the first point for me on the very sort of deep level, that if I create a banner where I can continue to build multiple products, I will never get bored. Um, So that was the fundamental first reason to have a multi-product sort of company, right? And second one was like, I figured that what if you can build multiple products by keeping the ICP same? So the benefit of that is your average ticket size per agent will keep on going without spending more money incrementally on marketing. So if I'm selling something to, let's say I'm selling a phone system to a sales agent today, I can sell them a lead generation tomorrow. I can sell them a AI sort of offering day after tomorrow, and I can sell them an email, some sort of tooling again on the fourth day, right? So if you can keep the ICP same, you can create n number of products and continue to grow the average ticket size of the current customer, because end of the day retaining a customer is way cheaper than, or expanding a customer is way cheaper than acquiring one. So that was also kind of a learning from all the business I ran, all the companies I invested in. So that was also kind of learning, like how can we continuously increase the average revenue that your current customer is paying you. So that these two things became kind of the thesis for the multi-product play from day one.
That's a lovely way of looking at it. People look at problem statement first and then go, but you started right from the persona and then dwelled into various problem statements and built. Lovely. Let's go back to day zero of SaaS Labs, right? You decided you're going to build SaaS Labs. You started off with Just Call. So how did you validate your problem statement? Did you already know that these are the problems because of your past experience, or did you have the need to validate your problem statement?
Got it. No, I think nothing. See, I have a feeling that whenever you start something with a very textbook style, it hardly succeeds, right? Because I feel that there can be common reasons for failures, but reasons for success are always different for every different company. Reasons for failure will always, there'll be an overlap between different companies why they failed, like, but why they succeeded is always different. So never started with a kind of a playbook. I think the thinking, so when we built Just Call, actually we had a couple of tiny, so when I moved to US 2015, right, I was while searching for different ideas, I also built tiny small apps just for the cash flow purpose, and also to figure out, can we actually build something from India and sell across the world. I'm talking about 2015. It was still
Correct.
not common that time. So I built two, three small apps for Shopify and Etsy app store. I myself coded and sort of started selling those products, and it was doing about $500,000 in ARR when we sort of thought about the whole SaaS Labs thing, right? So these kind of product became kind of part of the SaaS Lab that time. And one of our salesperson actually wanted a phone. He asked me like, "Hey, if you can give me a US phone number, I can do crazy number of sales basically, right?" So we're like, okay, we'll give you a US number. So we got to Skype, we got him a phone number for US, and then he started making calls after 3 weeks or something. I asked him like, dude, like I don't see any skyrocketing sales here, like what's happening here? And he told me that, hey, I made all the calls, like just people are not converting. So that's when I got an idea, like, can I listen to all his calls? Like, can I record his calls, right? So we just hacked around on that weekend to build something where we can sort of, where our salespeople person can just make calls, and we can just record it and listen to it. So that became the very basis of the idea for Just Call, right? And when we were able to sort of listen to those calls, I was like, there must be at least 1,000 companies in this world who'll find this useful. So if we can just sell them for like, I don't know, $80 or 80, whatever, the number is 83K, right? For $1 million ARR. If I can just sell them for $80 a month, will that be a possibility? And the internal answer was yes. I mean, totally possible. Like you can easily find 1,000 companies in the world who will need this and pay you $80 or whatever. So that was the initiation of Just Call as an idea. And that's how we built that and launched that on 2nd December 2016 on Product Hunt, and then 2017 Marchish we started monetizing it.
Right. So this was an internal challenge that you faced, and that led for you to start Just Call. But did you also want to speak to other people to find out if they were solving the same problem in a different way, or were they using other tools in the market that existed? Did you go through that path?
No, so I think I got serious about. So we started growing. We were at about 10, 15K MRR when I started thinking about it. Like, okay, I think this can actually become way bigger than I was thinking about it, and at a faster pace, right? And that's when we started talking to a lot of the customers that we had, right? So I think instead of asking other people, so I think till first million or so, like asking just your initial customer itself is a gold mine basically, right, for you. The second thing is like in general market sizing. So I started understanding like, hey, in which industry this product falls under, right? And I mean, that naive we were, right? We didn't even think about the industry that time, and we sort of built this hack kind of a product. Uh, so so the industry size is so big and it's growing at a really decent pace. So let's say different reports say it's a $10 billion industry, like contact center software or communication software, and some say $10 billion, some say $20 billion. So let's take $10 billion, right? And it's growing at a double digit and year on year. So let's assume 10% is the growth rate. So basically, a new $1 billion is coming into the market every year. So you don't have to worry about the competition at all till your first $100 million, because of the $1 billion for next sort of 10 years, if I'm just grabbing a percent or two of the new $1 billion coming in the market, I can build $100 million sort of company here, right? So that was the first thinking process and validation in a way that there is enough space for multiple players in the market and you can actually build a big business sort of here. The second one was like we were crazy connected to our customers, like insanely connected to our customers. Like and even today, we whenever we are training our support people and sort of sales people, we tell them the stories from that time, like how connected we were to our sort of customers, right? And if you look at our G2 crowd initial reviews, that's exactly what people are also saying, that we have never seen customer support or something like that ever before in any SaaS sort of product, right? So I think that worked really well for us. It's funny that only when we were at about 20-30K MRR, we figured that, okay, there are other players also in the market.
Right.
And it's totally fine. It's totally fine. If the industry is really big, then it's totally fine. If the industry is small, then you have to definitely think about your competitors and everything XYZ. But if an industry is like decently big, like adding about a $500 million to $1 billion every year, I think you just focus on the customer, just solve some of the problems from very ground up. Keep things very simple from the product side of things. Don't build everything day one. Show incremental improvements to your customers in your product. I think you are sorted for like first few $1 million of ARR.
Right. And customers always have a lot of requirements, right? How do you say no to a customer? I'm sure you've said multiple no's. That's why I'm asking you this.
Dude, I mean, there's a funny story behind this thing. Like, that's how I learned what PMs do. And we hired our first PM when we were at about 15 million or $12 million ARR. So initially, what was happening, I was kind of playing that role of CTO and the CPO in a way in the early days. So I sort of took the initial calls on the product side of things, like largely from the hunch basis. I would be very frank, mostly on the hunch basis, like, okay, so you can bucket different customers, different manners, and different requests in different manners. One request is, so you have a basic idea about your product sort of plan, right? Like your roadmap for the product. If some request is coming in which is right in the roadmap itself, then we'll probably agree to that and we'll say, okay, we'll build that. And in the early days, you have to keep your speed really, really high from the shipping point of view, because that's one of your differentiators as a small company. So speed is like one of your biggest differentiators as a small company, right? So we made sure that we just make it so magical for our customers that they'll be like, dude, I asked for this integration last night and you just launched it. Like, wow, this is so amazing. And I'll get you 10 more customers, right? So I think for the initial sort of years, and like, why not even at this stage, like the speed should be super high. So we made sure the speed is really high. So we are building a lot of stuff very quickly. I think the second thing was like, if there were certain detour sort of kind of feature requests, like from the roadmap itself, then what we did, we actually wanted to test like how serious the customer is about that request. Is it just a wish, or this person really wants it? So we used to ask money for that feature. We were like, okay, so we can it's part of our roadmap, but we can expedite you if you pay us XYZ. And that amount was, as an Indian sort of mindset, you normally ask X amount. And this is what I told my team also, like whatever amount you're thinking about, just 4x that number and then send it over. Don't send the number that you're thinking about, right? So if I'm thinking $250, I'll just send $100,000. So that's what we started doing, and a lot of these requests then got filtered out. People were like, no, dude, I can wait. I can wait for this for next 6 months.
But they did not churn.
No, they didn't churn. They didn't churn. At least we showed the intent. Um, but there were cases where people actually paid us $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 to expedite the feature, and that sort of helped us think better and think more like why this feature is so important for this person. And then we started thinking like, okay, now that we have built this feature, so that should impact our marketing play as well. Like, how can we go and find more customers who are having such a deep pain of this kind, right? So that was one. The other one was. We made sure that every week the customer support folks are actually sharing the top 10 commonly asked or commonly sort of asked questions or queries, whatever. And then we used to sort of use those to either fix the product or build the new things, right? For example, if last week there were like 100 queries, of them like 5 or 10 were about some new integration, that helped us up that integration that we really wanted to build up the sort of ladder, right? So I think listening to customers is probably the best one uh, to build stuff. I think in the hindsight, I'll say yes. I think I said yes to a lot of things. I should not have said that. Uh, so that probably caused some sort of technical debt. So if I have to do this again, or if whatever product that we are building today, I think we say some more no's these
Right.
days. Because I think the function is like we were also bootstrapped, right? So any money was great money for us. But now it's more clear. Now we say a lot of no's, and that's fine. It's functional learning, is functional maturity of the business. So it's
Yeah.
totally.
Right. Gaurav, I usually ask people who come on the show, how did they get their first 10 customers or 30 customers? But for you, I'm going to ask, how did you get your first 100 customers? What was the average ACV?
Sure. No, I think ACV won't be the right question because we change our prices a lot during
Right.
our first 6 months or a year. I also posted a blog post about our new pricing change, and then that pricing also got changed. So it was so funny that time. And we started with like a $9 or so monthly sort of pricing point. All right, so first 100 customers. So first 10, 20 customers came through. I started writing a lot on Reddit and Hacker News. Started sending a lot of emails on LinkedIn and through LinkedIn itself. So a lot of slogging and hustling, basically.
What email was it?
I can tell you the Reddit piece.
Sure.
It was basically I picked all the small business kind of groups or subreddits on subreddit, right? And I just shared some stories like, hey, I started this company, I sold it for this much. These were my learnings. Now I've started this Just Call. I'm just looking for my early first 10 customers. Would you like to sort of use it? Happy to help and give you a demo. Right? Just go and ask for help. While saying that you are not a scammer here, you're just genuinely an entrepreneur trying to get first 10 customer. Just open up your problem in front of people, and world is largely a good place. So there will be people who will gonna come and help you. So I wrote a lot of posts on Hacker News and Reddit like that, mostly Reddit. So that was one. The second one on the email side, I think email was largely about that. Hey, X2X founder, uh, building something for sales rep to automate. Uh, not automate, like building super simple uh, phone cloud phone call system, something like that. And like very short email that, hey, I've been following you for some time. I'm building my new business after selling the previous one. Wanted some feedback from you. Simple as that.
So it was a discovery. It was not a pure sales oriented
No.
message on
It was
LinkedIn that you
pure
did.
discovery. The messaging seemed like a discovery, but there was a lot of sort of research went into that, like what kind of people we really want to start with. We want people who are doing a lot of international sort of calling or sales, who are doing a lot of businesses with international offices or businesses with multiple locations. Any business where phone call is very important. So we made sure that there are certain people from those businesses, mostly sales or founder sort of level. So that was one. Um
No, Gaurav, let me just interrupt you a little bit. Why did you choose Reddit or Hacker News? Like my understanding of Reddit and Hacker News is that a lot of product and tech folks hang around there versus a lot of sales and marketing people.
Yeah.
Why did you choose Reddit or
So
Hacker
they
News?
can relate with me also, right? Because I'm also a kind of a hacker sort of person. I used to be a compulsive sort of programmer. Like I used to just program every time. So uh, you're hanging out within the group of people like yours, like yourself basically, right? So I think because I was not showing myself as, hey, I'm selling it. I was more
Hmm.
like, dude, I've built this thing. You're also a programmer. You're also a programmer plus some founder somewhere. Would love to hear your feedback. So it was like buddy to buddy, rather than, hey, I built this thing and I'm selling you this thing. That will never land. That thing will never land in the early days. If you just go and just blank selling, it will land 2%, 1% conversion rates. But if I'm saying like, hey, coder, that I'm also a coder, I built this thing, roast me. Like
Got
it's
it.
gonna work. It's gonna work.
Got-
For example, if you are a painter, you go to a painting community and just uh, show them that, hey, I've painted this thing. Give me feedback on this. And some of them will also be rich painters, so they'll be like, okay, I'll buy your painting, right? So
Got it.
it's easier to get the feedback and also get accepted in that group. So I'm talking about early days, right? Obviously. So once you have
Yes.
30, 40 customers, you know the use cases. Now I can go to salespeople and support people and these leaders and tell them that, hey, this is the use case. This is where it works really well. Now let's talk.
Yeah. Let's talk about early days. That's what I want to learn about. So on Reddit you mentioned subreddits, right? So you can't keep posting the same post over and over in a subreddit. So do you think the frequency of one post a week on a subreddit would be good enough, or is that something you did?
No, I hardly did. I think 4 or 5 posts. What I made sure, okay. So I actually asked people. I made it open, like, hey, I'll be happy to answer your questions about everything I posted here. I think I posted something like 20 learnings or something like that. I still don't remember. I don't remember, but I know that I opened it up for people to ask questions, and people started asking questions. I was like super quick in answering that. So
Hmm.
that kind of became an AMA kind of situation. Um, and that sort of helped. So there were largely only 3 or 4 posts only. Then yeah, I think I used Quora also.
Right.
Quora helped us with the SEO piece. So a lot of some of our answers sort of started showing up in our Google search. Uh, right. So I think that was the very initial phase. But then what happened? Just because we were very close to our customers, one of our customers from US, he was like the biggest customer that time, like paying $35 a month, right? And Durian, I don't know what his name is, but I have the photo. But um, he landed up at our office here in Noida, like all the way from US. He was on his way to Thailand for his honeymoon, and he just landed in Delhi. And I was like, "Dude, where is your office?" I was like, "Oh, it's in Noida. It's still like 50 miles 50 kilometers from Delhi airport." He landed in an office, and he gave us two amazing advices, which sort of changed the game for us. Uh, so initially, our positioning was get an international number, give an international look to your business. That was our positioning. Really bad positioning. Um, he said that I'm using this for my operators who take phone calls to either sell or support. Um, I was like, exactly what we built for, but he was like, your site is not saying that. So just openly put it on your website that it's a cloud phone system for sales and support agents. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because we were like only five, all of us, we were like a team of 5 people, all engineers. So what else you expect? And then the second one was the biggest game changer for us from the distribution side of things. So he was like, dude, why don't you integrate? Why don't you push all the call recordings into my pipe drive? I was like, what's pipe drive? I was like, dude, it's a CRM. I, all 5 of us didn't know what CRM are, right? And we were like, okay, makes sense. Cool, man, great, thanks for the idea. And when he left, we started doing our research. What's Pipedrive? What's CRM? And then just because of speed, we were able to build that integration that night itself. And I pinged this guy that, dude, here is your Pipedrive integration. And he was like, again, that magic of that feeling of magic that there is some software company in the world which is so fast. So he got super happy. He used it. He referred us so many customers. And then we went to Pipedrive saying that, hey, we have these 10, 20, 15 customers, common customers. Would you like to put it on your marketplace and do some co-marketing? They put us on the marketplace and we did some common sort of co-marketing stuff. And that's where the thing started picking up. We started getting a lot of free leads every month from Pipedrive Marketplace. And all of a sudden, our MRR was like $2,000, 4,000, 7,000, 11,000, right? And at about $7,000 or $8,000 MRR, I again wrote a post on Reddit saying that, hey, I started this product of mine on 2nd December 2016 or whatever, and I just crossed 100K. Here is my learning so far. Ask me anything, right? And that sort of post also kind of did really well. Then I started writing blog posts. So I kind of loved writing apart from that really shitty positioning of ours. I've done fairly well from the content side. So I started writing posts here and there. Any blog post, any blog I got, I started writing on it. I wrote one post which was like, desk phones are dead, hail just call, something like that. That post did really well. I wrote a post on we moved to our new pricing, our previous pricing sucked, here's why. Right? So creating that interest in people. So do everything that's possible. Like we did everything to make sure that we reach our first 100 sort of customers.
Right.
Took almost 500 or 600 demo calls to convert our first 100 customers. And anytime our calendar is open 24/7. You book anytime, we'll get on the call.
Pure hustle.
So that's required. I mean, it's not an easy game. That's required 100%. And what's important is like, if a customer is telling you that, hey, okay, I use HubSpot, I don't use Pipedrive, so maybe I won't be able to use it. So I'll be like, no, that's a great news. We are actually releasing it on Wednesday, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. And you're like, oh, that sounds cool. So I'll sign up and I'll wait for that before putting the card in. The engineers are listening to the call. They'll just go to the HubSpot API, build the integration the same day. We email the person tomorrow that, hey, the invitation is ready. You can use it. So you have to create those magical sort of moments for your first 100 customers, make them feel so special that they'll give to the next 500 customers.
Right. Just going a little deeper into this Pipedrive partnership that you were talking about. Why did Pipedrive want to partner with a bootstrap company called SaaS Labs that not too many people back then in the day had heard about?
Okay. So I think we went to them. So whenever you're doing any sort of partnership, so this partnership is actually not like you going on a camera and handshaking and all that. It's very straightforward marketplace listing of your app and then doing some co-marketing, right? I think this is where a lot of people miss out on some of the very fundamentals. One is like you first give and then you expect something, right? So whenever we went to any partner for that matter, we have 100 plus integrations today or partnerships today. So what we did firstly was we were like, hey, we have built this amazing integration for Pipedrive where people can make phone calls and send SMS. Only calls that time. SMS came later. So only you can make calls and you can log all the recordings and all your leads and whatever information, right? So firstly, the product made sense. The whole integration made sense by default for both the customers. Second was like, so we have built this. We have put in our engineering time in this. We have put this. We have also created this amazing, pretty looking landing page for our partnership. That Pipedrive phone system powered by Just Call, something like that. We created a really pretty page on that. Landing page talking great about Pipedrive, talking great about Just Call, and talking great about the combination. And then we also created a help guide how to integrate Just Call in Pipedrive with all screenshots and everything. And then we reached out to the person who's running the show at Pipedrive Marketplace that, hey, this is me, founder at Just Call /SaaS Labs. We love Pipedrive. And some of our customers suggested us to build this integration. Hey, here's what you have done. Blah, 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 like 3 links to these 3 pages that I talked about. And then, by the way, we also already have 15 common customers. Would love to connect with you and see how we can sort of grow this thing. What's important here is like, it's very true in SaaS, like these integrations on both the side improve the retention number. So the NRR for these customers who are integrated is way higher, like easily 10, 20 points higher than the normal customers who have not integrated anything. So people understand that. So we got the reply from that, and we started building very human connection with these people. And some of these partners actually helped us during our first fundraise as well. So both Pipedrive and HubSpot, um, marketplace leaders, they actually went on calls with our investors to tell them how amazing Just Call is. So, and that happened because we invested our own time in building a relationship with these people. Yeah, man. So I think if you show the right intent, and you give something before asking for something, doesn't matter if you're a bootstrap or small company or whatever. If there is a
Got it.
value for the common customer, if you can show that, it's gonna go through.
Got it. So your first 100 customers were a combination of Reddit, Quora, Hacker News, Pipedrive.
And
Can
then
I say all?
SEO kicked in. People searching for HubSpot. So once this thing happened, like the whole Pipedrive thing happened, we were like, okay, I mean, this is amazing, man. Like we're getting free customers. We were not spending anything on marketing or anything like that. It was just me writing here and there, and then this whole Pipedrive thing, right? So that opened up a very good GTM for us. We were like, okay, let's integrate with more CRM. So we picked up HubSpot, we picked up Intercom, or whatever tools we were sort of playing around with. So we made, I think, 10 or 15 integrations within no time. I think Front also was one of them. We created all these integration. All of a sudden, a flood of leads started coming in, because we were playing the same playbook. Do something for that player, create a personal connection, and make them do some co-marketing together. So we played the same playbook on all these 3-4 integrations, and all of a sudden, from I think 150K in our first year to almost $2 million, or $1.8 million in next year, right? So that thing picked up because of these leads start coming in, and the beauty of these leads is that the conversion rate is way higher for these leads because they're anyway sold. If HubSpot is saying that Just Call is a good phone system and is approved, then they're just coming to check in, like, are these real people or not? That's all.
Right, Gaurav. So this playbook that you're mentioning is basically integrate with, in your case, a CRM.
Yeah.
Add value by creating a landing page explaining what the integration is about, and then sending an email to the relevant person in the said company and connecting with them on LinkedIn. What did you do?
Connect on LinkedIn, send an email. Email should not sound super professional. It should sound friendly yet professional. That's very important because you have to connect at the hearts, while dropping some numbers here and there which connects with the brain, right?
Got
So
it.
I think that's very important. Show them the value, show them the dollars, but also tell them that you're a very nice person to be friend with. There's no harm in being funny here and there, but probably from the second email.
Right. And the CTA is just that you wanted to share, or the CTA was like, do you want to do some co-marketing with
No,
us?
so the first CTA is like, hey, let me know how can we make our common customers more happy, right?
Right.
That's the CTA. And this guy will be like, hey, congratulations on all the success, great stuff. Let's connect sometime. And then the connection happens, you go on a call, then woo the person out, and game on from there.
Got it.
Now you can be like, hey, okay, now that's great, man. That's great. I think now that we have 15 customers, I think we can have 150 customers. I think if we can have 150 customers, we can have 1500 common customers. Let me know how can we do that. So you sort of give in everything. You talk about the common customers. Keep bringing everything towards the common customer piece. Never talk about like, hey, this is how I'll get benefited, or this is how your Pipedrive will get benefited. No, it's all about the common customer. Hey, our common customers will be super happy to get this feature. What do you think about it? Like, shall we go and build? Would you help us with some co-marketing? So the benefit of this is that when some of these CRMs were building something new, they used to actually work with us on some of these launches and some of these things. Like, for example, Pipedrive or like HubSpot came up with their conversational intelligence, something like that. So we were one of the 3 partners with them. One was Zoom, other was Just Call, and third one was I don't know, Kixi or someone. So we were the launch partners. We were also the top 10 sales tools for HubSpot. Then Pipedrive also did something like that. So this happened because you are part of the mindshare of that person who's running the show at the marketplace, right? So it's your game. How can you keep on giving, so that this
Right.
person becomes he will always remember you.
Got it. And was cold emailing? See, majority of the leads that you guys got until about a couple of million is predominantly inbound. Were you also doing some outbound in the meanwhile?
No, I mean it's interesting. Like we are still not doing any outbound. Very very little. I think I don't know, like 1% of our new ARR, maybe I don't know, 5% of our new ARR is coming through that outbounding. I think that's a process we are still in works with. But it was largely building these assets that can work for you. I think that's what distribution is in a way. Like one way that can generate returns for you. I think that's what you have to figure out. Like, what's my distribution channel? At least in our business, we didn't see any success coming in from outbound specifically, and probably we didn't have the muscle on the marketing side to have a nurture campaign going for our outbound sort of leads or prospects. So we never invested in that. So it's still largely, even if you're adding about 1 million a month, then that's also coming largely inbound.
Got it. And you also mentioned that SEO also got you some leads,
Oh, absolutely.
right? Could you
Absolutely.
walk me through your process with respect to how did you approach SEO? Did you do keyword research? Did you form clusters? And then did you start writing articles? If so, how many
Yeah.
articles did you write? How long did it take to rank? Again, I understand that people need to understand this is back in 2015 and the game has changed quite a bit now.
Yeah. No. No, I think Just Call in general, we were churning out a lot of content which was not meant for SEO, but yeah, it helped. We were not optimizing the keywords and everything for SEO, but we were writing content because knowing that if we write good content, SEO will happen, right? All these integration pages for that matter, right?
Yep.
HubSpot phone system, HubSpot phone integration, HubSpot XYZ, right? Something like that. So we did a lot of landing pages on that basis, and that by default helped us um, uh, rank well on the search. I'll tell you other story around SEO success, basically, right? So we had something like a Y Combinator kind of program within our company where we sort of used to give $20,000 to our senior engineer to build something across the same ICP. Uh, so we built this our second product called Helpwise, which is doing about $1 million now, million ARR. So we gave $20,000 to that team, 3 engineers. They started building Helpwise, a shared inbox tool, right? And 3 months before the launch, we spent half of that money into SEO. And the process was very, very straightforward. I mean, I don't know like if that hack still works or not, but Ahrefs is a tool where you can just go and search for some of the keywords, and for some of the keywords, it shows you the difficulty score. For some of the keywords on Helpwise side, the difficulty score was not that high. It was like 10 or 15 or whatever, so it was beatable. So we just focus on those three or four keywords, and we just focus like how we can beat that. So is it like building links? It is like writing more content, largely building links with some authority or something like that, and then writing a lot of content. And we were able to beat that. So when we launched Helpwise, I think again we launched that on 2nd December itself, same date. We just wanted to repeat the Just Call story, right? So we just launched it on 2nd December. On that day, we were ranked 1 for all those keywords we wanted to rank for, and that got us the first 100K ARR for Helpwise, the SEO piece. In case of Just Call, it was just the momentum that we had. Like we were building so many things, we were writing about it so much here and there. So we had like our website, marketing website, the normal website, and then we had our help guide, and then we also had our updates blog. So justcall.io/updates, where the product and engineering team used to write. If they build something, they'll write about it on that post that, hey, this is a new feature coming in. And then there's a blog. So a lot of content going out, unique content about same topic. So
Got
help
it.
will have a help guide. The blog will have a journal broad view about some feature. Updates will be like very specific technical-ish kind of content. And then the website will have, for the same topic, another landing page which is marketing oriented, right? So all of a sudden,
What?
Google, this guy is talking about HubSpot phone system. They must be good because it's written four areas in a different manner for different use case. So that probably helped us in the hindsight.
What is the magic behind getting your engineers to write?
Yeah, man. I'm blessed in that manner. Probably sort of, I don't know. Maybe it's the influence coming from the top because I used to write a lot, And in all my sort of conversations with the team, be it town hall today or it used to be just my office that time, I always told people that if you have to grow in your career or life, the communication skills should be prioritized. And I always told people that I have only one skill, which is I write good emails. Um, so I openly tell that to everyone in the team, right? So I think probably that influenced a lot of people to write. And I got most of them hooked to Grammarly or something, so they were writing right. So I no, I think it's a part of the culture. Like it's pretty clear to everyone in the team that writing is an amazing skill that everyone should have. So if engineer is having a writing skill, this person is like unbeatable.
Right.
So I
Right.
think a lot of our people understand that now, and they do the job.
Got it. And another hat with respect to SEO is something I discovered recently is once you don't do SEMrush or Ahref, use find it, go to put Reddit or Quora, one of these forums, and put the keyword that you want to rank there and identify keywords below difficulty 30. And whatever is ranking in Quora or Reddit for under keyword difficulty 30, target them and write, and you ranking ahead of them at a much sooner pace will be faster. So that's something that's actually working, which I tried
Awesome,
recently.
man. It's super cool.
Yeah. And Gaurav, so is there a number of articles that you had? Did you have a marketing team? Did you have a SEO person to do the interlinking, or did you outsource a bunch of SEO work? How was that?
I was the main SEO person because in school and college I did a lot of blogging, so I kind of knew about the SEO piece. But yeah, I think we use some agencies outside for some content writing. I won't suggest them strongly, like outsourcing a lot of content piece. We have stopped that 100% now. In the early days, yes, because we didn't have the marketing team. We had only one person, like a Swiss knife, basically. But how much will you do, right? So we use some agencies, some just randomly throwing money here and there, trying testing out, and that worked out. But if you can do some bit of research, um, yeah, I think that for the early days it's totally fine to do some of those things like buying links and all that stuff in the early days. I don't know if that works even today. I don't think so if
Right.
that works.
Right.
Um, but a lot of heavy lifting was done by me
Got it.
on the marketing side and the writing side piece. But then we also had Abhishek Shankar. He's moved on, but he's a good friend still.
Got it.
Um, he was doing a lot of that content. We spent a lot of efforts on video also, and that also showed good results. So I was seeing like YouTube started sending us some really nice leads, which are actually getting converted.
Got
So
it.
we posted some Just Call demo videos, and people were able to click on the link on that description, come to Just Call and get sort of converted into customers. So that I think YouTube played really well in that manner.
Got it. And when did you make your first marketing hire, and what was the inception point behind making? Like you were already at almost 2 million in revenue just by
Yeah.
founder-led sales and inbound, right? So what was the inception point to hiring your first marketer?
Yeah. Uh, so we started playing around with Google Ads. So again, I was playing around with the Google Ads with like very small budget. I don't know, like $1,000 or so a month or something like that. Then we hired an agency down somewhere in Europe to scale that budget to about 10-15K a month, something like that. But and then I was getting stretched big time. We were building these two products, Just Call and HelpWise, and then I like my brain being like just 20 ideas to work upon, which now thankfully I have a better control on that. Uh, so we got this guy actually to market a new product that we were building. Uh, we were building something, a new product, and we got this person so that because what we have not done with Just Call and HelpWise, we wanted that we do right with this new product of ours because we have money now. So we got this person to market that product itself. That product didn't work out because probably I didn't look at the industry or whatever, something like that, the sizing of so there was no organic pull for the product itself. So we cut that product. We brought this person into Just Call to start handling our Google ads, like just looking after what's happening in the Google ads, start putting together some dashboards around the traffic piece, the conversion piece, the basic stuff. And then we started asking this person to start creating visibility for us, blog posts. So it became like everything marketing for us. I think the trigger was to sort of correct some of our mistakes that we did with our Just Call and Helpwise, and make sure that the new product that we're building gets the marketing love from day one. And then we were getting very serious about our product hunt launches as well. Like we were Just Call was building so many things on daily, sort of weekly basis. We wanted someone to handle the product hunt launches as well. So all of those things, like I noted down actually what I'm doing, like what I'm supposed to do under marketing today, and I looked at my worksheet. Like there were so many things I was supposed to do. I was like, dude, this is not happening. I have to
Right.
look at engineering, I have to look at the product also, then this engineering, then hiring also. Like it's not happening. I should get someone to do it for me. So I think it's very important to stretch a bit in the early days, because that's how you learn what you really need. Otherwise, if I was not doing that, I would have gone to the market and hired someone randomly without knowing what all is required to be done. Uh,
Got it.
yeah.
And
So also,
can
I
you
have not done that way.
right? Can you tell us a little about your learnings on Google Ads? Like, let's say a SaaS startup is just, I mean, about just starting. What should be the first campaigns they run?
So I think the first campaign were largely around our integrations. Some of our were around our own sort of brand name, and some were around our competitors. Very simple, straightforward. Three geographies: US, UK, and Australia. Um, and some bit were on some broader keywords like VoIP or something like that. They never worked out. So that was one of the learnings. Like if the budget is on the lower side, then just work upon the high intent keywords. If you want to do a branding piece when you have a bigger budget, then you can do all that broader keyword piece. But when the budget is smaller side, then go for it. The other thing is like it's kind of a stock market kind of thing. Like a lot of people think that if it's very funny, like people will prefer buying a $10 share than a $1,000 share because they feel the $1,000 share is expensive, but that's not the case, right? If you think about it. So similarly goes for CPC as well, or PPC, whatever you call it. People say that okay, for this keyword I have to pay $5 per click, but for this keyword I have to pay only 10 cents per click. So I should actually invest all my money into 10 cents piece because I'll get more traffic. But that doesn't mean anything. You rather pay $5 for a click and get a high intent customer who will convert and pay you $50 instead of all these bunch of people combining, coming here, not converting, only paying you $5. So you have to have that. You cannot compare 10 cents to $5 here. You have to also bring in that intent piece also into that game. So that I think that's very important. So do not say,
Did you run competitor campaigns, Gaurav?
yeah, we did.
And did they work for you?
I won't say like they were like spectacular, but probably I think that's also a function of how we supported those campaigns. Because to support your campaign, you also have to have the right muscle on your end as well. But by that I mean is that you should have landing pages, properly worded landing pages, high quality landing pages. Then you should also have a process where you have people to take that demand and sort of convert that. So we didn't build that muscle in the early days, but now we have it. I think that was also a learning, like uh, have people to address those leads as well. I think that became a problem. Like we had so many leads that we didn't have people to sort of address those, or we were missing out on a lot of leads because we were not sending people to proper landing pages, rather the website itself.
Got
Uh,
it.
and website will have like these 10 links on the top, 30 links on the bottom. So just people are just wavering here and there, right? So I think that's very important from the paid acquisition, that keep the CTAs minimum and don't let people go away too much.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you touched website, right? I've seen just all, I mean, I've seen SaaS Labs website for quite a while. And the first question that always comes to my mind is why do your product pages, many of your product pages have separate websites by themselves? Isn't it a pain to manage and maintain and take care of?
Yeah. No, I think we are moving towards a single play now. Uh, so earlier, as I mentioned in the earlier part, like Atlassian was my sort of one of the favorite, still is favorite company, and I always thought that having one banner and different products will work out. But I think when you start growing and you figure out what branding is, what brand building is, it's not an easy game. Uh, So what we're doing is we're actually moving everything towards Just Call now. Everything will get merged into Just Call, and Just Call will remain like the main platform. Everything will else get merged into it. Because that's an easier or better way of organizing the products and everything. I 100% agree that it's difficult to manage 4 or 5 different websites and all that stuff. No, I think I agree on that.
Got it. Got it. Uh, Quick question, Gaurav, with respect, do you have a hard stop in the next 5 minutes?
No, I'm good.
Okay, okay. Right. Gaurav, so how has your marketing strategy changed pre-PMF and post-PMF? And how do you define PMF?
Okay, so PMF is something when no matter how many people you hire, your fires are still there. You're just not able to control. There's so many things breaking here and there everywhere. No matter how many people you hire, you just still feel that you're understaffed some manner. I think that's what feels like PMF to me. I mean, so this is not my original. I read somewhere, but then I agreed. Like, okay, this is what a PMF means. I think the marketing strategy has changed in a way that we are more sort of compartment. We have like compartments for different pieces. Like earlier, it was like marketing team was like doing everything, like paid ads, content, everything was driven through a single place itself. So nothing was. So it was everything was in a kind of a series. Now everything's in parallel. For example, we have a complete big section of content team, and content is again helping with different parts of the business. So they're right from any single email copy going out from the product, any single email copy going from CS, support, everything is being sort of controlled by the marketing from the narrative and the branding point of thing. On the content side, social influence is one thing, then your blog post is one thing, then in also blog post, like if something is long form, something is like quick videos for that matter,
Yeah.
or UGC content, or UGC. So content team is that. Then there's a demand gen team. So I always thought demand gen is nothing but just putting ad money in Google. It's funny, we actually reduced our spending on Google and all these paid people by 50%, and nothing changed. I'm talking about 500,000 a month to 250K a month.
How?
You know, this is the truth, man. This is the reality. People should try that here and there. So, example, if August, this is how we think about it. Like last year, like August and December are normally the slower months, right? Great
Yeah.
opportunity for you. Great opportunity for you. Cut the budget and see what happens. Because there's so many inefficiencies in these programs, and they kind of work like drugs for you because you put money, you get leads. Such an easy game. You keep on increasing the money, and you start getting more leads, but the quality of leads goes down.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah. So by the way, I moved away from the point. So I always thought demand gen is all about putting money in Google Ads. But now I figured like demand gen is way more than that. Demand gen is not only Google Ad, but there's so many other pieces in demand gen where you have to focus as a company. For example, our focus on our review sites, our focus on talking to, let's say, analysts. We just started doing a bit of that. Our focus on some other programs which I never knew about. So yeah. So I think the marketing now is in a totally different shape than what it used to be. There was nothing, though. There was no marketing before PMF. It was
Got it.
all us hustling, just being visible somehow.
Got it. And SaaS Lab seems like a company that's kind of media shy, right? Is that conscious, or you just haven't, or you don't see ROI with respect to PR, and you just don't do that side? What is the reason?
Yeah, I think two reasons maybe. Like probably it comes from the founder itself. Like being a programmers are usually introvert. I've worked a lot on myself, reading a lot of books over a period of time to come out of that. I'm in a way better position or shape in terms of being not being introvert and doing everything possible to be visible for the sake of the company. I think I've done that part. Uh, so initially, I think company was not visible probably because of that. Secondly, because we were selling mostly outside India, right? I think 99.9% of our revenue comes from outside India. So we never thought like, why should we put any efforts in India, and there was no plans to even raise money or something like that. There was no plans like that. So even we didn't want to impress any of the Indian investors as such. Also, there was no point like that. But things have sort of changed. Things have changed a bit because we figured that if you're not selling in India, but we're still hiring in India, right? So we need to have a brand visibility in India. So now that thing has changed. Now we are sort of working on some of our, at least on the social piece. We've started working a bit more on the LinkedIn visibility and all that stuff today.
Right. I think SaaS Lab story needs to be told to the world. Right? I don't think there are too many companies in India built for the US or outside the Indian market that is doing $30 million in revenue or anywhere close. Right? You can count it in two hands. So it's definitely something I feel you should talk about more and people should know more.
Absolutely. Thanks for that.
Yeah. And Gaurav, so you said you're focusing on LinkedIn, right? Again, just I want to talk about social media as a GTM, right?
Yeah.
Why LinkedIn? Do you feel because sales and marketing folks hand out on LinkedIn, you want to focus on LinkedIn? Why not Twitter? Because people are there as well. Why did you choose LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, we played around with Twitter. I mean, we never got anything from Twitter. Facebook, we just started getting some through those tiny small videos, short videos.
Short video. Yep.
So I think that's very interesting sort of campaign or experimentation going on in our company. Like we're doing some UGC stuff with Instagram and Facebook, and that has started doing something for us. LinkedIn, I think it's pretty obvious, man. I think people hang out there, right? I mean, you have to be visible where people hang out, and people hang out with certain mood.
Yep.
So I cannot go to a nightclub and sell Gita in nightclub, right? I mean, I'll send somewhere else. I'll sell in front of the mandir or a temple, right? So it's just like where people are hanging out and in what mood they are in, what they're expecting there. So I think on LinkedIn, it's okay to talk about business. On Facebook, I cannot ping people to talk about business. So I think that's where the difference sort of comes in. And yeah, I think, and in our case, I think LinkedIn was pretty underutilized in our case. Like we never sort of did anything on LinkedIn. The other thing is like this whole talk about founder or executives brand building. I think that's also picking up really well in this whole market scenario, in the current scenario on the social piece. Like largely all the popular brands or popular sort of companies, a lot of the founders have a bigger following than the company itself.
No, that's exactly where I was going to next, because LinkedIn is actually built for people and not companies, and people think it's built for companies and they focus on their company page completely and they leave their personal profile, whereas your personal profile will give you a lot more reach than your company's profile.
Yeah, that's why I got active in last few months, right? I mean, that's one of the reasons why I got more active, because we need to add that human voice.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everything is human. The whole business is about human. Humans are working with humans. Humans are building products. Humans are selling to each other. That's why I told you about this whole partnership piece as well, right? If you bring in business into that, it's not going to work. If you bring in humans into that, human relationship into that, it's going to work. So no, I strongly believe in keeping that human part of the business alive. I think the biggest mistake normal businesses do with their social media profiles, starting with us only, is that we post a lot of updates and product updates and all those business stuff on your social sort of profiles. I think that should change, and we are changing that also on our side. We've been doing the same mistake for last 7-8 years. So no, absolutely. I think founder brand or executive brand is really important for businesses in this age.
Right. And LinkedIn is where I connected with Gaurav, by the way. Sent a mail after mail after mail, and finally he had to say yes to come to this podcast, and that's how we made this happen. Right, Gaurav, I think we've come to the last bit of the podcast, right? So if you were to give 3 tips on founder-led sales, what would it be to the people listening?
Sure. I think it's okay to be shameless. Firstly is that. Second is like, don't think that you can hire a salesperson to do your first sales. That's never gonna happen. It's your job to do the first sales. If it's not happening, then something is wrong. And third is start working on, even if you've made the sale, start working on building the relationship with your first 20 or 100 customers. make them such good friends, know everything about them, know where they live, know about their family, not in a very cringe and creepy manner, but like more like show interest in them and say them thank you whenever you get a chance to say thank you. Tell you a very small story to sort of add to this. Like in the early days, there was this one customer. She was from Santa Monica, so I was supporting her on intercom chat, and I saw that on the intercom you can see a location of the person, right? And it was a little like she came as a lead actually, and I was just chatting on intercom like, hey, how can I help you? And she was like, hey, I need a phone number in LA or whatever. I was like, oh, you are from LA, and I saw that she was in Santa Monica in the right hand side. Like, hey, you are from Santa Monica, that's amazing. And it was Wednesday, and I asked her because I stayed in Santa Monica for 4 years. I asked her like, hey, it's Wednesday. Did you get anything from the farmers market today? Right? And she laughed, and then we chatted about the product itself. She converted into a customer. She's still a customer. I don't know if she's still a customer, but last time I checked, she was a customer, and she has referred so many people to Just Call, and I think Kathleen her name. So yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. Like, just never think that you're a founder and you're the top on the top. Just be very on the very ground and talk to these people as humans. I think that's going to help your business so much. Then nothing will replace that.
Got it. And what again? I've asked you this question again. I'm going to ask it again. What should the first sales sequence be when somebody is getting from 0 to 10 customers?
Dude, it's not a sequence, just like series of bombs that you have to keep on throwing. Like, like there's no sequence, there's no answer, there's no PMF, there is no nothing proved yet. It's like creating a new recipe. You'll have to create that dish 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. You have to keep on noting down what worked, what not worked, and eventually land on the right recipe, and then you have a sequence. What you have to be like, just be very shameless, but be very respectful. You can ask people to say, hey, if I'm sort of disturbing you, just let me know. I won't reach out to you. I just thought that you'll be a great, you'll be great to sort of brainstorm with. That's all. You
Got
can
it.
end your conversations like that. You can close some of the chapters there, but as such, do not go with a thought through sequence itself. Just try everything.
Got it. Three entrepreneurs you're looking up to or you look up to.
No, I think it's I love after watching all this pre-wedding stuff happening. Like I'm a big fan of Dhirubhai. I'm a big fan of Mukesh Ambani, and Dharmesh Shah from HubSpot. Definitely big fan. He's both a techie and a founder. Great community person as well. And I'll miss if Elon Musk leaves the world for his memes. So I definitely yeah,
Got
it
it.
was so funny last night when Instagram and Facebook went down. I was just taking the case on them on Twitter. So it was so funny.
Yeah. Gaurav, what is the future for SaaS Labs? What are the new products that you're going to be building?
No, I think it's more about so two things. I think one so two tailwinds for us basically as a business. AI definitely. I always talk about it's a risk and an opportunity. We started working on it 3 years back, so we have done already some great stuff around AI. But I think the whole industry is actually looking at very superficial use cases today. Thanks to our 8 year journey till now, and powering almost 10 million phone calls a month and 20 million SMS or whatever number a month, we actually are in a very good position to build something more deeper than the current use cases. So we understand a lot of use cases. So I'm very excited about the kind of use cases we're going to solve through AI for our customers. So I think that's something new that's going to come and going to unlock a lot of opportunities for growth for us. The second thing is more industry move basically, or how the people buy. This whole consolidation of stack is happening. It's pretty clear now. A lot of customers are coming to us and moving to our sort of bunch of tools because they want to consolidate their stack, and that's going to grow further. So we are also in a very good position today as a company to capitalize on that move, which is happening in the industry, that people need one tool instead of 10 tools to solve a problem. So
Got
that's what's going to happen on our side.
Very cool. Gaurav, who would you recommend that I speak to on this podcast?
Dude, I think you should. Good friend of mine is junior for my college. I don't know if you've chatted with him. He's Jindal. He's doing Hello Tars.
Hello, Tars. So back when I was working in this company called Vatil Search Long back, one of the first places I worked at, and we used Tars when they just
Oh
started
wow,
out.
that's amazing. So Ish used to be my college junior,
Okay.
and big fan of him. Like he's done really good. He's built a great product company. So yeah,
We'll definitely reach out. Gaurav, thank you so much for taking part in GTM Talk. It's been a pleasure. I think your story needs to be told to the world. I think you need to do more PR. You need to be like people need to know more about SaaS Labs.
thanks,
Thank you
man.
so much for your time.
Thank you.
Uh,